Welcome to today's webinar on top UiPath examples you must practice. So my name is Ankit. So I'm into this IT industry for the past 10 years. Right. So today in today's session, we'll discuss more of examples that you have to practice in UiPath and not the concept. And agenda for today is this. So we will get to know what is automation, what is UiPath. So what is UiPath? We have just looked into. Okay, just we have gone through the theory. And we'll do some examples, right? What is automation? So what is automation? Just an example that we do a lot in our IT industry, right? Data entry employee. So you have an employee sitting there who does the data entry work. So from multiple sources, from web application or some Excel applications or some databases, or some window based applications, he has to pull the data from different applications from multiple sources. He has to pull the data, combine them, do some calculations, combine them, and finally load that into an Excel file. Collecting the data from multiple sources and dumping that into an Excel is what this guy is doing there. Okay, so which is completely a manual work. The same work, collecting the data from multiple sources and aggregating them into an Excel, if a machine has the capability to do. If you have a machine which has that capability to do, so that is your automation. And here the machine which you are seeing, right? So generally this machine is a software. Okay, it is a software, and that software we call it as a robot. Okay, so in RPA, so if you abbreviate RPA, what RPA stands for? Robotic Process Automation. So the first word is robotic, right? So robot, ROBOT. So the robot is a software. Generally, a robot is a software which has capabilities to mimic human actions. Whatever the human actions, okay, whatever the human is performing the actions on a computer or on a screen, the same actions if a software has the capability, so that is a robot. Now your robot has all the capabilities to mimic the human actions, whatever he's doing. So that is automation. And we have looked into what is a UiPath, right? So UiPath is one of the tool. So an RPA tool which helps you to automate tasks by using various kinds of activities. So that is your UiPath. So now we know what is automation and what is an RPA. RPA is a technology that gives us a lot of principles to automate, right? So that is just the technology, and to enable that technology we have tools into the market. Automation Anywhere, UiPath, Blue Prism, and one of such tool is your UiPath. And how UiPath looks like and how we can do automation using this UiPath tool is what we will look into today's webinar. And what are the examples we're gonna look into today's session? Moving files from one folder to other folder, web automation, okay, a sample of web automation, email automation, okay, Excel automation, PDF automation. All very important applications, all the very important applications that we generally use in each and every project are here. PDF, Excel, email, web, and files and folders. We have everything here, right? So now let's go and look into how your UiPath automates those things. So first, moving files from folders. Okay, moving files from one folder to other folders. How we can do that? So let's go and do a practical. And how your UiPath looks like? The UiPath looks like this. When you install UiPath in your system, so this is how the interface of UiPath will look like. So from start, we can create a project. To do any automation, we have to create a project. So now I'm creating a project using this process option. And what will I do this? Like I'll say UiPath Examples Webinar. So this is my project name. And you can give the location where your UiPath project should get stored. I'll go here under UiPath. I'll just say, okay, not this. I'll go to Edureka and I'll create a new folder saying webinars. So under webinars, folder, I'm just saving my project. Okay, so now you can give the description also, whatever you want, you can give the description. I'll say webinar project. You can give the webinar project, and you can create the project. So creating project, it will do few things. It will add all the dependencies and it will make your workspace ready to do automation. So you have lot many drag and drop functionalities in UiPath. So you can use all those drag and drop functionality to design your project. So this is what it is creating right now. It is creating your workspace, and workspace is the place where you have all the options to do automation. See, that is what it says. It says creating the workspace. So before to that, okay, so to move the files from one folder to a folder, what is required? Okay, in theoretical part, so what all the things we have to do in UiPath to move files from one folder to other folder. So we need a source folder and a destination folder, and we have to create an automation to move the files from one folder to other folder, that is source to destination. And to do that, we have to do these activities. Assign the source directory to a variable. We have to get the value of the source directory, the path of source directory into a variable. Okay, we have to get the number of files that you have, mention the destination path, and we have to use loops to move the files from one folder to other folder. And this is where your interface, the workface, is here. Workspace is here. So I'll just click on this open main workflow. Open main workflow is where I can design my automation. And using activities, so you have activities here. Using activities, you can do the automation. Okay, so the first thing what I have to do, I have to give the source folder and the files inside that particular folder. So where are my source folder and destination folder? So here is where I have, so folder 1 and folder 2. When I open the folder 1, you have these many files, 1 2 3 4. You have 4 files, and in the folder 2 I don't have any folder, so I don't have any files in this folder. The folder 2 folder I don't have, so I will move all my files which you have in folder 1 to folder 2. I'll move all my files which I have in folder 1 to folder 2. So let's go and quickly create our program. So what I'll do, I'll just create a variable. So before to that, let me drag and drop a sequence. So I'll create a variable to store all my file names, and to store multiple file names in a variable, we can use array type variable. So array, I'll say files, and change the variable type to array of strings. So now this array of files will store, the file names. And where are the files? The files we have in folder 1 path. So to do that, I'll just drag and drop the assign activity into this folder, and to this variable array files. I'll assign all my files. How will I assign all my files to that particular variable? I'll say directory. So what is a directory? Directory is the folder. So directory is the other name of folder. So directory dot, what I have to do from that directory? I have to get all my files. And what is the path of the folder? So let me open the folder. I have that in my desktop. On my desktop, I'll go here to the folder 1 and I'll copy that entire folder path. Okay, so I'm here, I've just copied the folder path. Done. So what am I doing here? Simply all the files that you have in that particular folder, I'm just storing that in this array file variable. So once you have all the files in this variable, I have to move the file from one location to other location. Okay, each and every file one by one I have to move. To do that, one by one, to do operations on each and every file one after the other, I have to use loops, and that loop is for loop, for each loop. So for each file in this particular variable, for each file on this particular variable, so I'll just say array of files, and I'll just change the object to string here, right? And inside this, I'll just use move file activity. Move file. See, everything is a drag and drop here. We don't have to write any code. We just have to drag and drop the activities. So using the activities only, so we have a list of activities here. So many activities we have here. Using those activities, we can build an automation. Just drag and drop those activities, right? And this is the move file activity. This move file activity will move your file from source to destination. So which is your source file? So this is the item is your source file. So item is my source file, and what is the destination? So destination I have to move is to folder 2. I have to move my file to folder 2. Let me save this. And so this is my folder, right? So what I'll do, I'll just execute my automation now. You can execute your automation using run file. So under debug file, you have a run file. Using that, you can do the automation or execute your automation. Now you see you have a folder 1 here, and you have 4 files in that, and your automation is yet to start. Yeah, now the automation has started. Okay, so when I go here, so you don't have any files in that particular folder. See how fast it is, how fast it has moved the files from the folder. So you don't have anything in folder 1, so where we have our files. So when I go to the folder 2, now you have all the files in the folder 2. So that's how you can move the files from one folder to other folder using UiPath. So which is the main activity? Move file is one of the main activity which moves your file from one folder to other folder. Okay, so this is one of the examples. So we use lot of these things in our real environment. Okay, moving the file. So next, one of the best thing is doing the web automation. Okay, doing the web automation is also one of the major activity that we use on daily basis in our IT industry. So how to do the web automation? So here is our requirement. So what is the requirement? I'll open the web browser. I'll just say Flipkart. I'll open the Flipkart. Okay, Flipkart is again a web-based application, right? So I'll open the Flipkart. I'll go to the Flipkart and I'll just say I'll search an iPhone here. Okay, I'll search for a product iPhone. Okay, so when I search for iPhone and enter, you have these many phones. Okay, you have these many iPhones. Okay, now the data is there on your website, but I need to get this data in my Excel or CSV file, whatever it is. Okay, I want to get this data in my Excel sheet. How to do that? Okay, I need Apple phone and its model, the rating, and the price associated with that particular model. So this is the information I have to get using UiPath. How to do that? So to do that, so let me create another sequence. I'll say here web automation. Okay, I'm just creating a web automation file. So this is a kind of a project execution file. Okay, so web automation, and the first thing what I have to do, I have to work with the browser, right? And you can work with the browser using UI automation and browser. So you have all the activities related to your browser. Okay, just give me a minute. So let me change this mode. Okay, so until it changes, so we have different modes of doing development. Okay, so creating your automation, we have different modes. So I have set that to some other mode. Okay, so that you will know when you learn UiPath, right? So when you learn UiPath, you will know what are the different modes you have. So my project, my studio was set to that mode. So, and we generally don't use that mode very frequently. So I have changed it back to my original mode. So that's what I am doing here. So let it show, yeah. And now to work with your browser, you have to go to UI automation. Under UI automation, you have browser, and I'm using the attached browser. So this attached browser activity is used to use the already existing browser. That means already opened browser. If you have, you can use this attached browser activity. And I have my browser already opened, so I'll use my attached browser. If at all you want to open a new browser which is not already open, you can use this open browser. Okay, and it is saying indicate the browser on the screen. So which browser you would like to work with, I'll just click on that and indicate this particular browser. So this is the browser where I would like to work with. All right, so the browser details are captured. Then what I have to do? Okay, then what I have to do? So to get the data, I'll use data scraping option that we have. I'll just click on data scraping, so which will scrape the data from your screen. So data scraping, the meaning of it is it will scrape the data from the screen. So I'll select what value I need. So I need the phone details, right? Phone model, which is Apple iPhone 11. All right. So it is saying, okay, you have selected this particular mobile model here. Indicate the same type of element on the screen, which you think it is a model name. So what is the next item we have here? Similar item here, app in iPhone XR. So I'll go and indicate that second item. And what I'll name it? I'll name it as Apple product. Okay, I'll just say Apple product. Then next what I need? See here, all the data has been extracted. Apple iPhone 11, XR, XR, so whatever, how many phones you have. Okay, how many phones you have in this particular browser. So those many iPhones has been extracted. So then along with the iPhone product name, I need the price also, right? I need a price also. So for that, I have to click on this extract correlated data, go here and indicate the price element. And you have to indicate one more element of price so that it can capture the pattern. And I'll say price. Then next, finally, finish. Okay, I'll say. So here the data has been created and exactly the code has been written. Okay, so what I'll do now, I have to load this data into an Excel, right? I have to load this data into an Excel. So for that, I'll go to the workbook activities. You have something called workbook activities under system, file, workbook. So workbook is another name of your Excel, right? So I'll say write range. I'll use this write range activity to write the data to the Excel, and I'll give the path where your data has to get stored. I'll go to the desktop and I'll say here iPhone details. Okay, iPhone details dot xlsx. Okay, so I'll just copy this and inside our folder. So let's create that under folder 2. Let's create that under folder 2. So under folder 2, I'll say iPhone details.xlsx. So we don't have this file as of now. And which data I have to write? I have to write the extract data table, because this particular data, okay, so when you scrape the data from the screen, the data is getting stored under the variable called data table, and the variable name is extract data table, and you are using that data to write the complete data from that variable using write range. Now about the email automation. Okay, email automation, suppose you have this kind of email where you have attachments. Okay, where you have attachments and you have to download the attachments from your email. You have to read this email and you have to download the attachment. How to do that? Okay, so what I'll do, I'll go and create one more program here. I'll say email automation. Okay, I'll just say email automation here, and here I'll use one activity to read email, and that is under app integration. I have mail, and under mail I'll use IMAP activity. So IMAP activity is used to read the email. So for that activity I have to do the configurations. So what are the configurations? I'll set the port. The port is 993. You can find the email related port, servers, all those details you can find in the Google. Okay, and the server I'll say IMAP dot gmail.com. So this is the server for IMAP, and then I have to give the logon information, which email you are trying to use. All right, so I'm using this, so and I have to provide my password. So password is sensitive information, so I cannot show the password. So for that I'll use the get password activity, so which will generally encrypt your password. So I'll go here. So this is my password, and I'll store that password in some variable, Gmail pwt. So Gmail password, and I'll go here now and give that password here, Gmail password. Okay, so done. So and I have to download the attachment. Okay, so email ID is given wrong, gmail.com, really, right? So I have given the password, and I just want to read top 5 emails, and from that top 5 emails I would like to download the attachments. Okay, and those 5 emails has to be stored in some kind of variable, and that variable I'm going to create here. So I'll say list of emails. Okay, and I have the list of emails, right? So 5 emails, 5 different emails, and to work with individual email, again I have to loop through them, loop through each and every variable, sorry, each and every mail. So I'm using this for each. Okay, and I'm giving my list of emails, and this for I have to change it to the type mail message. So these are the variable types. Okay, so these are the variable types. I'll change that to .NET. Yeah, and then to save the attachments, I'll use one of the activity, that is save attachment. That's it. Drag and drop the save attachment. And so from which email you would like to download the attachment, this is the item, and where you want to store. So let's go and store that in the folder 1, which is currently empty. So this is the empty folder. I'll just go here and give the path. So here is where my files needs to get and downloaded. So I'll run my file. I'm just running my automation now. So your UiPath will read the email, and if that email has the attachments, it will go and download the attachment. Okay, the execution is completed. You see here, so these many attachments I had in the first 5 emails. In the first 5 emails, so these many attachments I had. So for your reference, when I go to this email, you see here vendor info msmed tds declaration. So when I go here, you can see these 3 files: vendor information, tds declaration, msmed declaration, and all the other files are from the other emails, because we are reading 5 emails, right? Top 5 emails. So that's how you can save the attachments that you have in a particular email. That was the one example we had on the email, right? So this is what it explains. Now next, Excel automation. How you can do an Excel automation. Okay, how you can do the Excel automation. So here the requirement is, suppose you have the data in an Excel, how to load that data in some web application. Okay, so here I have this particular job application form. Okay, I have this job application form. The data from the Excel has to get loaded onto this particular job application form. How? So let me take a sample. of Excel file. I'll go here, UiPath webinars. Yep. So this is my sample Excel file, job applicants, and you have this data. You have this data, and this data has to get loaded into that particular job applicant portal. How to do that? So now let's quickly go and do the email automation. Sorry, Excel automation. Right. So first thing what we have to do, we have to read your Excel. You have to read your Excel. So for reading the Excel, I'll go and use the read range activity. So read range activity is used to read the Excel data. So where do I have the Excel data? So Excel data is in webinars. Okay, not here. So Edureka, UiPath, webinars, and here. So this is my job applicants Excel. So I'm reading the data from that particular Excel. And what do you have? Yeah, I have sheet 1. So I have to read the entire data. I have to read the entire data. So I will just remove this range. So if I just remove this range, entire data will be read. And that data we have to store in some variables. Okay. So in some variables, to store the data inside a variable, when you are using the Excel, we will use data table activity. Okay, we have to use data table variable to store the data when you are reading the data from Excel. So I'll say here job applicants. Okay, so job applicants. So this is the variable where I'm storing the data now. So now for each and every line of data, I have to load the data into my Excel. Again, to work with each and every row of data, I have to use this loop for each row in the data table. Which data table? So I have created job applicants data table. So for every row that is being retrieved, what I have to do? I have to go and load the data inside this job applicant. Okay, so I have to enter the data on this job applicant. Okay, job applicant. So what shall I do now? I'll use the activity called type into to enter the data. So type into activity. So I'll just indicate where I have to enter the data. So this is where I have to enter the data. And what data I have to enter? So the data I have to enter is, so the data I have to enter is current row of what column? So where is my data? Onto which column I have the employee name data? So name column. I'll just go there and give the name column. I'll say .toString. So likewise, next what you have gender. Okay, so gender, when you go to this application, it is a radio button. Okay, male, female, it's a radio button. So we have to select it. To work with the radio buttons, so we can use the click activity. Okay, you can use the click activity. But before to that, I have to check from my Excel whether I'm getting the male or female. Based on the male, I have to go and click on email. And if I get female, so then I have to go and click on female. So for that, what I'll do, I have to do conditional based programming. And that conditional based programming I can achieve with if. Okay, so the same thing, if I'll go here, copy the entire text, paste it here. If the age, that is gender, sorry, not age. If the gender, gender, if the gender is equals male, if the incoming value is male, okay, what I have to do? I have to go and click on male. I'll just use click activity now. So see, mouse click. I have to go and click on, not this one. Here I have to go and click on male, right? So else if it is not male, what I have to do? I have to go and click on female. As simple as that. I have to go and click on this female. So that is done. Next, what I have to do? I have to do the same thing for email and phone number. So I'll go here, use my type into. So type into, indicate on the screen. So email. So what is the column name in Excel? It is email. I'll just go and change that to email, right? So then again type into, because I'm typing the value, again type into. So next is my phone number. I'll go to my application, enter my phone number here. I'll say here phone number. Okay, I'm writing the phone number. Once it is done, what I have to do, I have to go and click on the submit button. And to do that click activity, I have to use my click. So this is your click, indicate on the screen, submit. Right, so what happens when I submit the data? Let's go and do a sample submit. I'll say Ankit, mail, I'll say @gmail.com. Then I'll submit the phone number, something 9999, and then I'll click on the submit button. So when you submit, your response will be captured. And to submit another response, you have to click on this submit another response hyperlink. So again, I'll use the click activity, right? I'll just use my click activity to click on that hyperlink because I have to submit the next response also, right? So this is my next response. Done. Okay, done. So now what I'll do, I'll make this website ready. Okay, so this website ready. Now I'll go and execute my program. See what happens. Okay, so I'm done with my execution or my programming. So let's go and watch whether your automation is working fine or not. Yes, it is writing Ankit, mail ankit@gmail.com, online, submit. Perfect, submitting another response. So next is Ritika, female, ritika@gmail.com, phone numbers, submit. Perfect. And next is Aryan, mail, aryan@gmail.com, the phone numbers, submit. And the final employee, Arav, mail, arav@gmail.com, all 6, submit. Done. Your automation is done. So likewise, you can automate your Excel. You can automate your Excel application. So along with the Excel application, we have automated your web application also, right? So this is one of the greatest application that you use in your daily life in IT industry, and you have to know how to automate that. So next is PDF automation. So how to read the data from the PDF is what we'll just see. So if you have a PDF and you have to read the data from that PDF, okay, so I'll say PDF automation. Okay, to do a PDF automation, you have to download some packages, and that packages you can download it from manage packages. I'll just say PDF and UiPath automation packages, install, save. So you have to download some packages to work with PDF. So why we have to download the package, what is a package, all those things we will have a detailed explanation in the course curriculum. Okay, so when you are with us to learn UiPath, we will explain you what is this package is all about and what all these managed packages, why we have to download the package for PDF, and why we are not downloading anything for Excel. All those things we'll have a in detailed explanation there. Okay, so now I have added the PDF activity dependency. So let it add before. So meanwhile, I have a PDF here that we have moved to folder 2. So this is the PDF XYZ bank statement. So XYZ bank statement. So this has these details. Okay, so it says bank name, invoice, okay, all the details. So this is the PDF file, and I have to read the data from this PDF file. So how to read the data from the PDF file? So we have downloaded the PDF packages. I'll just go here, go to the PDF, and use an activity called read PDF text. Okay, so where is my PDF? My PDF is in my folder, right? So this is my PDF. I'm just selecting this PDF. So I have to read the data from the PDF, and output of this PDF, that is entire text, has to get stored inside some variable. So I'll just create a variable. I'll say PDF text, right? And let's display the data that is read from by this activity, right? So I'll just use a message box to display that particular data, PDF data, onto the screen. So let me just close this and now execute this particular program. See here, now the data is completely read from that PDF. So since we are showcasing that in a message box, so you have this entire data, and this data you can use it for any further processing, right? So this is how you can read the data from the PDF. So what activity we have used to read the data from the PDF? So we have used this read PDF text. So likewise, you can also use read PDF with OCR activity also you can use to read the data from the PDF. Okay, so these are some of the applications which are widely used in the industry, right? Widely used in the industry. Like we'll generally work with the files and folders, right? So we'll work with web, we'll work with email, we'll work with Excel, and we'll work with PDF. Okay, so all those things we generally use in our IT industry, and this is where UiPath will help you to automate these applications. And you might have observed, right? I have not written any big lines of code to do automation. Everything was a simple drag and drop functionality. All right then, so it was a great time. Thank you so much.